welcome into the Bottom Line Podcast once again. With me, as always, I've got the two brothers, Alex and Nathan. Let's hop right into it and start with what every single show lately has started with. What feels like 15 minutes of yeeting. So Jay comes out and he doesn't waste any time like he did on Raw. Once he gets to the ring, he does just flat out call Cody out. They do their thing for a minute. Then the more interesting part, in my opinion, Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu come out, and Jacob cuts an excellent promo hinting that he wants that title. And then kind of chaos ensues like normal in these clown car segments. And that's that. So what do we think about this segment? What do we think about the Bloodline and Jay, them kind of interrupting and
I mean, the best part about it is
interfering?
Jacob Fatu's little stig that he had. Hell, we're doing this. Hell, you know. That's the best part about it. But it is getting to a point where this clown car thing that opens up Raw or in SmackDown, you know, whichever, it's getting a little tiring. Of course, we already knew that Jey Uso was going to come out, call out Cody, which I honestly don't even understand why they did that. I guess they have to, but it was an okay beginning for me. It's just something we've seen for the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's not different. There's not much to talk about here.
And I agree. It really felt like filler. It's like, oh, we do this every year. Like the Rumble winner comes around to every show and makes you think for a week. I don't think any of us thought this was going anywhere. And it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. I mean, Cody's destined for bigger and better things.
Yeah, I actually really like the promo work between Cody and Jay. I think those two always have good chemistry on the microphone. Great to see them together. And you know, as far as the beginning being a yeet fest, as it were, you know, the crowd's into it. I can see that Jey Uso's lore is growing and people are starting to really get behind him. Not that they weren't already. The only thing I don't like about it is he's come to SmackDown to talk to Cody about possibly facing him at WrestleMania, but it's way too obvious. We know he's not picking Cody. So what we end up with is kind of a pointless segment. I did like the addition of Jacob and Tama coming out and having that great moment where now we're starting to see Jacob kind of want to take the head role of the bloodline, right? Maybe not the tribal chief, but he believes that it's definitely not Jay that's going to bring a world title back to the family. And I like that they're pushing Jay in that direction. Ultimately, anytime I can see Jacob Fatu on the screen, it's a win. But, you know, I think this whole segment was just how do we get Jay on TV again, get him to continue to get some buzz. But we know he's picking Gunther for WrestleMania. And spoiler alert, he does.
He does.
Right? So no shock there. Decent segment to start SmackDown. I would just like to see I want to see a little more excitement headed into WrestleMania. I don't necessarily love predictability unless it's a dream matchup. If this was The Rock and Roman Reigns or John Cena and Cody Rhodes or whatever it was, that's predictable. We know that match would be happening, but we would also just be very excited to see it. Jay and Gunther we saw a couple weeks ago at Saturday night's main event, so it's not particularly exciting to start. So,
and I will say that this could be a good segment, but we don't even know what Cody's doing at WrestleMania, so we can't make this segment interesting. It feels just out of place. Like you said, I like seeing Jacob Fatu, but if it's just too predictable to use him to chase off Jay and you know all that, it doesn't hit for me.
It's pretty lame
what
opening.
does hit for me, Bianca Belair, every time she's in the ring, delivers. She does so again in the next segment. She faces Piper Niven to qualify for the Chamber match. And even though we all are aware that there's no way Bianca Belair is losing this match, I think it's a good match simply because every time you see that KOD delivered to Piper Niven, you're like, damn. Like that's what I think in my head. I don't know if I'm the only one who does that, but I certainly think, damn. And I mean, she goes over. I enjoyed it. What do we think?
Bianca is just, if not the most talented on the women's roster. It's always fun to see her have a match out of the blue, especially in a I've loved her tag team. I've loved her tag team stint this last couple of weeks, but her by herself is obviously 10 times better than her being in a tag team fight. And her going to the Elimination Chamber, I know she's going to make that chamber 20 million times better with her presence there. And it was a good match. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love anything Bianca's in.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match too, and I agree with all of you guys' sentiments on her being a fantastic wrestler. Something else that gets me excited. I mean, we know Charlotte's going to go with Tiffany Stratton, kind of similar to how we know Jay's going with Gunther.
Yeah.
That leaves Rhea Ripley kind of up in the air. I would love to see Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Right? I think that's a dream match right there. And you know, I know we've had Bianca kind of in the tag team scene. I'd love to see those belts get dropped, and I know there's kind of the looming presence of Jade Cargill. A lot of people believe that Jade Cargill and Bianca are going to go at it at WrestleMania. Truthfully, I don't care if Jade Cargill ever comes back. I don't think she's that talented of a wrestler. Bianca has carried her through all of the programs that she's had up until the fake injury to write her off TV. And I think Rhea and Bianca could put on a hell of a match at WrestleMania. It's the one match I've been wanting to see. So personally, Bianca's my favorite to win the chamber. But ultimately, this match, obvious who was going to win here. We weren't going to get Piper Niven in the Elimination Chamber, and if we did, there would be a riot. Maybe hashtag we don't want Niven, something like that.
Hashtag
really
we don't want Niven.
Yeah, I'm serious. Maybe we'll start that. But ultimately, Bianca always puts on great wrestling matches. She's exciting to watch, and she's one of the most, if not the most, athletic person in the WWE.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it gets 2 thumbs up from me.
Speaking of the Jade Cargill thing, let's stop there for a second. Maybe this is me buying into the kayfabe thing a little too much. Is she healthy?
I don't know.
Because wouldn't you have used her in the Royal Rumble if she was healthy?
Yeah. You would have made a return there, probably.
Like, it feels odd to interfere in a chamber out of nowhere and get a Mania spot. Like, that's a little late for not being on television.
It would have been reported if she was genuinely injured. I feel like somebody would have got a hold of that. Maybe they have, and I just haven't seen it. I
mean, she was originally, but is she still hurt? Is my question.
I think she's just awful, a botch fest, and not a great wrestler. And Triple H was like, "Hey, go home for a couple of months. Let's get past WrestleMania, and then we'll talk."
Fuck.
Everybody's favorite tag team has a match.
Oh yeah.
Next, Pretty Deadly somehow manages to hoodoo Nick Aldis into giving them a tag team match against DIY, mostly because Nick Aldis just hates DIY, it seems. And then, out of nowhere, Pretty Deadly wins.
Now, I can't stress enough how much I hate the tag team division in the WWE right now. Every single match is what's up
on Raw or on SmackDown, not on Raw.
We'll get to Raw in a minute because there was some good stuff over there.
I don't like them on either brand. Both suck. Name your favorite tag team right now. Just do it.
My favorite tag team
right now. Do you care about any of them?
What, you want me to name my favorite?
You care about Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa? Be completely honest.
No.
I mean, I enjoy what the Creed brothers do.
Yeah, do any of you care about the Street Profits?
I'm sorry, I was just like the gears were turning here. You're right. Tag team division does suck.
It's garbage.
I do care about the Street Profits, but I want to know where on earth they are.
Yeah, I was trying to think through. I don't know why my brain was like, "There's some good tag teams," and then I started flipping through them in my mind, and I was like,
"No, there's not a good tag team in the WWE right now."
Yeah,
as long as The Street Profits are gone. There is no.
You
more
could
tag
make
team.
an argument for the 2 Viking dudes. I forget their name, but like even then, I don't even know
War
their name.
Raiders.
Yeah, them.
I'll say it this way, and I don't know where we lost this in WWE, and I hope Triple H brings this back at some point, but it feels like we used to be really, really great about bringing the developmental talent up, and they would either go into a good tag team or they would go into a faction.
Singles.
And they would do,
Yeah.
I mean, think about The Rock with the Nation of Domination.
Mm-hmm.
You think about
Evolution.
But we're
Triple H,
already rattled. We're already rattled with so many factions, though.
And it feels like we just bring them up now. Like I'm thinking Carmelo Hayes. We just brought him up. We just put him in some matches, and he's not doing bad, but he's not doing great because he hasn't had anyone to bounce off of.
Mm-hmm.
Really, he just kind of has a different opponent week to week. And so the reason I even bring that up is I really hope that we start doing that again, because that'll do 2 things. It'll give life to our tag team division,
Yes.
and it'll also give some of these younger folks the opportunity to shine, bounce off of each other, and then propel themselves into a mid-card or even a world title scene. So
because I know we don't cover NXT, but I will piggyback off this. NXT has some good tag team stuff going on down there and some good factions. I really am bothered by the fact that they just really don't bring people up. Like with the girls in particular. Like, why is Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade not on a regular Friday or Monday? It's been like 4 years. Like, why are they still main eventing NXT every night? Like, it's bad for NXT.
Well, it's probably because
bad for the girls.
Well, yeah, but like at the same time, you also have to keep NXT an interesting show. And if you were to just bring every new talent that was good to the main roster, NXT would be lame.
But for as long as they've been there, like they could go up to right now, they could go up to SmackDown and take those titles off of Bianca and Naomi, and we would all be happy about it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Both of you make valid points, though. I think Triple H probably looks over at his buddy Sean and is like, "Hey, I need you to book a great show." And then Sean probably looks back at him and goes, "Hey, I need you not to take everybody that's talented off my show."
Yeah, right. There's definitely arguments happening there.
I mean, and I'm not suggesting we bring up the whole roster, but like with the tag teams, especially, like we could bring up some of these tag teams and make things a whole lot more interesting for both Raw and SmackDown.
Agreed. You definitely can.
But my one thing about this is, why is Pretty Deadly doing this and not the Street Profits?
Exactly.
Didn't they just interrupt from the other night?
Because what makes their appearance at the Royal Rumble and special? Yeah. Nothing at this point.
You know what it feels like? And forgive me if there's somebody out there named Paul Levesque who wants to fight me after I say this, but it feels like Triple H is booking the whole show except for the tag team division. It feels like Vince McMahon's still booking the tag team division. I'm being honest. Letting Pretty Deadly have a win like that seems like a very Vince McMahon thing to do.
And you would think
this feels like a Michael Hayes booked this match.
And it might be punishment for them not doing a great job at Royal Rumble in their match. Yeah. I don't know what it is. But,
and you would think that Triple H, especially Triple H, would be very good at booking tag team fights and factions and stuff like that, since he is a part of literally the 2 biggest to ever walk in the business, DX and Evolution. And he just can't hit the mark for some reason, I feel like.
It's when he's taken over the main roster he's had issues, because he was fine when he was in control of NXT. He was booking good tag team matches.
The Rock and Sock connection was the best tag team ever. So let's get that straight.
What?
We're moving way past this.
Y'all flame this man in the comments. That's crazy as shit.
I'm the captain of the ship today. We're not doing Rock segments.
Rock and Sock. Ugh.
Next, we got this all confuses me. So Drew McIntyre comes out. He does his whiny, oh, poor me thing. Then Jey Uso comes out. They have a good segment, actually, where they go back and forth for a minute. Then LA Knight comes out and says, "Let me get my stuff in." Love that. And then they do this triple threat qualifier thing, which kind of irks me because the winner's obvious, and it shouldn't be with Jey Uso and LA Knight involved. But it was. Match was good. And Drew qualifies. He's happy.
That's kind of, I mean, me personally, Excuse me. Oh, I burped. Sorry. Excuse. Me personally, I wouldn't have put LA Knight in this situation. It was a good match. It was very good triple threat. But damn it, the Chamber needed LA Knight. Needed, I think, me personally.
I wanted it. I don't know if it needed it, but
I think he needed it. I think he's definitely a megastar that could have brought a lot of eyes to the Chamber. And it's just upsetting. I mean, I'm not gonna put him over McIntyre. That's just not gonna happen.
I want to say, yeah, I see your point. I think the segment was good. The promo work between Drew and Jimmy was fantastic. And Jimmy, again, proves why he's great in his own right. I know a lot of people compare him to Jey. I think Jimmy has better promo work than Jey does.
Big Jim, baby.
He did the stuff with the no yeet, and he really had the crowd on his side too. I agree with you on it being obvious, and I wouldn't have liked it to be. And one of the main things I don't like about it is there was more than one person in this match that I wanted in the elimination chamber. So
they could have split it up.
And here's the thing, and maybe somebody's going to get upset with me for saying this, and I do love Jey Uso. I don't love the matchup between him and Gunther. There's zero reason why LA Knight should not be in that world heavyweight title position, right? I think if it was Jey Uso versus LA Knight or LA Knight versus Gunther, I'm way more excited for that match at WrestleMania than I am for the pairing of Jey and Gunther. LA Knight is popular. He has a way with the crowd. He has good promo work. And I feel like we're forcing a match that we've already seen. Anyway, besides that, man, the promo work was great. I think LA Knight comes out and says he heard somebody call Drew McIntyre Drew McIntyre, which I thought was hilarious. And then even in the match, in the triple threat match, we had that moment where it looked like McIntyre slapped LA Knight in the back of the head, and then almost looked like they were throwing hands for real. Which personally, I think they're working the crowd.
They're working that hard,
definitely. But still, I mean, that's when we love wrestling, when it blurs the line between real and fake. So ultimately, Drew McIntyre's in the Elimination Chamber. He has this % chance to win that thing. So, I mean, it's an obvious match that leads to an obvious loser in the Elimination Chamber, which to me is not great.
Here's my question with Drew. What are we doing with him?
Yeah, like, is he still on a bloodline hunt? Is he still
like? Because I don't understand. I don't understand where we're going with this Drew McIntyre into WrestleMania, especially with like the character being. They're even acknowledging that he's a crybaby. Like they're on Twitter, the GMs are going back and forth talking about it. Like we're openly acknowledging this is a crybaby Drew McIntyre character, after having the most hellacious Hell in a Cell match of the last decade.
Yeah.
What are we doing here with this? It feels like we're fumbling.
Well, I feel like here's where I almost am going to vouch for the booking here, because it's not good. And Drew McIntyre on any other day is a main event guy, but not when we have the stars that we have revolving around the company right now with Seth, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, the possibility of other people getting involved like The Rock or so on and so forth. And then now we've also got Logan Paul, some of these other true megastars. It kind of pushes Drew towards the mid card, but he doesn't belong there. I think he's
not anymore.
So it almost creates this weird middle ground. And I think Drew is definitely truly frustrated with that. And it also makes it to where it's like, where do we book him? I think there are interesting matches to put together, but without starting to build that right now and putting together what would be a blood feud between him and somebody like he did with CM Punk, I don't see a great spot on the card at WrestleMania for him. So I think they have to start that now. And I think that would have been a great time to not put him in the Elimination Chamber match. Maybe put somebody like LA Knight in there, and then let's get Drew McIntyre built up into a program that's worthy of the grandest stage of them all. So right now it's not there. And I feel like you're right. In a way, we are fumbling a main event guy. We've not paired him with anybody headed into the biggest show of the year. So,
and I mean, maybe this is the start of the LA Knight pairing. I mean, maybe it generically grows from the whole Twitter.
That's the only way that I can see it going forward.
Could be.
Like maybe that's what this is.
There's still no stake.
We'll see.
There's no title on the line. There's no they have to sell the stakes for me, because at the end of the day, if there's no title, if there's no red necklace on the line, and there's no family involved, I need something, right?
Mhm.
And otherwise, it just feels paper thin to me.
Now, my favorite segments of the night, we're going to go to the women. Charlotte comes out, and we finally get the stare down we've been waiting for since all those vignettes started. We get the Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair stare down, only to be ruined by my least favorite human.
That's my boo. I'm just kidding.
Nia actually does a thing that I enjoy here. She goes ahead and goes, "Hey, I want my rematch next week, so we can get that on a SmackDown real quick." So honestly, I loved the whole segment. We're going to get out that title match on a random SmackDown, let Charlotte interfere, and we move on with our lives. So what do y'all think?
Yeah, I appreciate that Charlotte is leaning into the heel side of her persona. I think last week she tried to come out and be a friendly face character, and it didn't fit her at all. It looked like a frog with a suit on, not normal at all. And I think ultimately, Tiffany comes out. I'm excited to see that match. I think it's going to be a great technical match. I'll be honest, I continue to be unimpressed with Charlotte's mic skills. I just don't it's almost like she doesn't quite land her point. And I'm not claiming that I could do better, but I am saying for someone that is as accomplished,
has won 14 championships, you expect better mic work.
She still comes out almost like she's nervous, right? And doesn't quite land.
She's a veteran, and she still can't quite get the.
Tiffany a child and a few things like that, and that does get me excited for the match. The other piece of the segment that I love is, thank God, I love that they're getting this rematch out of the way because we knew it was coming. And I love this for everybody except the people that are attending SmackDown next week, because they got to watch that crap as the main event. But personally, I'm glad we're getting it over with.
But even then, I think Stratton can make Nia look good.
I thought they were going to put it on the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, which would have been even worse. But
thank God,
that would be awful. My thing with Charlotte and in these weird mic skills so far, is she just nervous? Is that the thing? Because I just got looking back with rose-colored glasses, but I remember her being better on the mic.
It's been a while since she's been out in front of thousands of people, so yeah, maybe.
I mean, but in like 2 or 3 weeks, we're almost guaranteed to get Becky Lynch at some point. Do we have any worry that she's going to come out and do this? Because I'll be the first to say, I'll just hand a mic to Becky and let her open Raw, and I guarantee you she does 10 times better than Charlotte.
20 million times better.
Like, I don't understand why Charlotte would be nervous. Like, she's won 14
Okay, well, here's my thing. So she's probably, like y'all said, she came back and tried to be a baby face, and it blew up in her face. So I think that her entire script has probably flipped, and it's had to be changed on the fly.
Maybe she's just uncomfortable.
Maybe she is. I mean, that's a possibility, because you probably have what? So she's had all year to think. Alex.
We lost Alex for a minute.
All right. Oh, you're back.
Oh, why that glitch? You're gonna have to cut that out. But
oh well.
I'm back.
Oh shit. What was I talking about? Damn. Oh. So. Yeah, her entire script has had to change. And she's had maybe a whole year to really flesh out what she's got to do from when she gets to the Rumble all the way to Mania. Yeah. And she's probably had that thought in her head the entire year. So
maybe she has.
Maybe it's a little hard to go against what you've been practicing first off, and what. Yeah. So
maybe I'm being a little too hard.
But for a veteran like her, that should be easy. First off, it's like normal for a flip like that. Kurt Angle, for example, is the best to ever do it. Wanted to be a babyface as soon as he came here, and then just completely didn't have the crowds. I mean, people can do it, and he was a rookie then. So why can't Charlotte do it now? You know, like, it's just.
It's weird. Like, we're depending on the crowd's love of Tiffany Stratton right now, and and we need to, I guess, over the course of the next couple of SmackDowns, we need to convince me that we all hate Charlotte again.
Yeah.
And she's believable as a heel again. But
it's
back to returns.
Yeah, there you go.
Alexa Bliss. Oh, what a beautiful sight it is to see somebody who can wrestle back on the show. She shows up against Candice LeRae again. This one is very predictable for a chamber qualifying match, but I honestly couldn't care less. I loved seeing Alexa back. She put on a great match with Candice. Low key, a shout out to Candice. She could put on a decent match.
Oh, she's not bad, dude.
Alexa has been gone for a while, and I enjoyed it. She sold that weird Sister Abigail perfectly. Do you two love Alexa Bliss as much as I do?
I wouldn't say that I absolutely love her, but she is a very fantastic wrestler.
Great technical wrestler. I think it was obvious that she was going to be in the chamber. So that, again, makes the match a little less fun, but I thought it was a really well wrestled match. And I love that she's playing into the whole deal, the supernatural, right? I think that's been the most exciting part of her character. And I think we'll see her come together with Uncle Howdy and crew, the Wyatt Six, pretty soon. But there's the other side of me that wants to see her win the chamber too, because guess what? I think Rhea Ripley and Alexa Bliss is another one of those matches I'd be interested to see. So now I've got two that I think it's really kind of making the women's elimination chamber shape up to be something I want to watch. So we can get away from the predictability a little bit more with us having more contenders that we feel would be good fits. Because I don't think there's a direct shoe-in for a match with Rhea as it stands.
Yeah, no, there's not. Even if Becky comes back and demands it, I think Alexa has a perfectly valid case to be made, and Liv, for what it's worth. So that was it for SmackDown. We move on to Monday Night Raw in Nashville, and like I spoiled earlier, guess who starts the show?
It's just me.
We do. I counted this. I looked down at their timer. We yeeted for 7 minutes before Gunther finally. I almost cheered Gunther when I saw him. He finally interrupts all this yeeting nonsense because we restarted the thing like 3 times, I think. And Gunther beats the hell out of Jey. Yeah. And right when we think Gunther's going to walk to the back and segment's going to be over, Jey grabs the mic and makes all of our predictions true and says, "We're doing this at Mania."
Yeah.
I feel like this segment, and maybe I'm out of place here, it made me slightly more interested, if only because of, like, Gunther makes it believable that he really hates Jey.
And I don't know if Will mentioned this already, but me and Will were actually at this show.
Yes, we were.
And it was actually kind of impressive to be in the crowd. And I have been. I was lucky enough to be at the Rumble too, but this feels a little different because Jey's had a major victory. It does feel like the crowd has turned a corner as far as their love for Jey Uso goes, and it's pretty impressive. And I know sometimes maybe we think on TV they try to make it doctor it up and make it seem like people are excited. No, I mean they were genuinely
for 7 minutes
for an encore. Yeah. For me personally, it feels like a little too much of the yeeting and all that stuff, but you can't deny. I mean, before we even took our seats, it was me, Will, and a friend of ours. We're looking at which aisle we think Jey Uso is going to come down. I think that was one of the first things we looked at. So it's undeniable that he's becoming a little more of a draw than maybe we've given him credit for. I think I got to point out something that was hilarious. Gunther comes down, flips him off the table, and then takes his jacket and yeets it, ironically.
And right into a kid, huh?
Yeah. And by the way, WWE, you got to sign that kid because he sold that damn jacket to the face like it was a super kick. I mean, it was awesome.
And here's where I'm going to pause for a second because nobody saw this on Netflix. Shout out to Pat McAfee. After Jey and Gunther had moved away, Pat actually checked on the kid. He took off his headset and actually checked on the kid. So shout out to Pat for a second. He
Yeah.
actually took the time out. But continue on.
Yeah, no, absolutely, he did. And I don't think he was injured or anything. The kid wasn't.
No,
But
no, kid was fine.
ultimately, Jay picks Gunther like we expected for WrestleMania. I know that Gunther last week said, if you pick me, every week's going to be hell. So it's going to be important for me. Now we've got the match graphic. Now we're for sure going down that route. They're going to have to do some interesting stuff with Gunther, making Jay's life a living hell over the next couple of weeks to sell me on this match.
This word hell they're using. I'm worried and excited all at the same time because I know when you use the word hell in WWE, as long as it doesn't involve the Undertaker, it only leads
They're
to one
going to
place.
have to do some crazy stuff to sell this match. And so, like, if he is going to attack, let's say he attacks Jey Uso every week up until Mania, you have to wonder, he has to not injure Jey Uso. And
But I mean,
the
are we
only
really
way
do
that they're
this?
going to sell this match is if they do some crazy stuff like Kurt Angle falls off and his head starts bleeding. Like, you know, like that's the only way that's going to make this match interesting.
This leads me
I
to
would
a-
hate to be these guys and have to do the Hell in a Cell that follows what came in the fall.
I don't think they're doing a Hell in a Cell. I do think the match requires some sort of stipulation.
Oh, it definitely will have a
If
stipulation.
it's me, it's probably an I Quit match or something of that nature.
I would do a
that gives them
crazy
little
street
more,
fight, some of that
a little
nature.
more gravitas. But you know, ultimately, I'm still not super excited for this match, and I think Jay's getting more traction. But this is a WrestleMania world title match.
Yeah.
Really
and we're
listen to
having to
those
work
words
for
and
it.
let them sink in. We delivered this match already on Saturday night's main event. I need something bigger for WrestleMania in Vegas. And you know what? I think we do this often where we kind of doubt Triple H, and he usually delivers for us. So I'm going to take us a few steps back and say, hey, we've got a couple of weeks here, and then we've got the Elimination Chamber, and then a couple of weeks following headed to WrestleMania to make this important, to make this feel exciting. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But until they do that, I'm going to be still hoping that The Rock comes out and takes Jay's spot.
I honestly, and the internet's going to hate me for this, I think they're doing the switcheroo like they did with the women last year. I just don't think they're going to put this match on last. I don't think they ever intended to put this match on last.
No way. I don't want them to as it stands.
And
it'll probably be the first fight that we see.
Me, like after a couple weeks to cool off about it, I'm okay with it being a world title match going on second to last. They'll put on a good show. I mean, I hope we have more segments like this that make me more interested.
Imagine if we still had the Money in the Bank briefcase.
And that would be complicated.
It would be complicated. But we could get the belt off of somebody.
We could, but
who won the Money in the Bank this year?
The heels are the problem, and the heel has the belt, and you don't have another good heel to replace Gunther with to have this match anyway.
Drew McIntyre won it and blew it immediately and lost.
Immediately, yeah.
Dang it, that's right.
Due to CM Punk.
I mean, I think something like a Hell in a Cell, or if we do like a Last Man Standing or an I Quit scenario here, I mean, it could be interesting to watch. I'm not going to say I wouldn't be interested in that with the stipulation. Now, if they run a straight up match, I really feel bad for these two.
Yeah.
On to the best match of the night for me. We have Damage Control versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Liv actually got busted up. You could tell where later in the night she got a nice little shiner there.
She got a cut right there on the no.
Yeah. Io eventually gets the pin. I think that was kind of had to happen. And then Rhea comes up later in the night and gives Io a title match the night after the Chamber, is what she said. I think this is a bunch of underutilized talent, even though Liv was a world champion. They just all feel like main eventers to me. Except Raquel, but she has to be with Liv.
I was about to scold you.
but she's got to be with Liv, so she has to be there too. It just feels like underutilized talent. Like they follow the main open of the show, and they're just kind of here, and we don't really have a main event.
I think we've got enough main eventers in the women's division to where, truthfully, we need to push one or two of these folks down into the mid card. And that's not to make anybody take a demotion here, but if they're not going to make Io Sky a serious contender, then they're going to have to give her some accolades. How cool would it be to see her going for the Intercontinental title, right? Or something of that nature. So I think we're a little thin in the mid card, and if we're not genuinely going to consider her a world title contender, then let's give her some accolades. So I think the match was really well done. Watching from the stands, it was a little brutal seeing Raquel, who is a little stiff, sling little Liv Morgan around, and ultimately ended up busting her face open. So I'd like to see.
Do we know where she got busted? I didn't see it because we were there. Nathan, did you see where? Yeah, I know, like where physically, but like where? Like
what spot did it to her?
Yeah,
Raquel picked her up and was using her as a battering ram, like slamming her into people.
Was that when she got cut?
Yeah. Ultimately, good match. Like that they're giving Io Sky the win there. It increases her stock a little bit. I do think we're blowing Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley too soon. I think that's a PLE worthy match, but either way, thought it was a good segment. It was exciting live. Crowd was into it.
Another 4 women. I think either 2 of these women would be a good tag team feud for WrestleMania. I think they could both put on good matches with Bianca and Naomi. So hopefully we get that. Next, we have what I think WWE wanted to not be a very predictable elimination chamber with everything Bayley's got going on with Cora and Roxanne. But I just didn't buy it. I was there, we were there, and I just didn't buy that Bayley was going to lose this. She's a 4 horsewoman. Lyra, I will say, I thought it was the wrong call to put the title on her. She has proven me wrong. She was put on. She put on a good match with Bayley. She looks worthy of the title. They kind of protected her with that little roll up with Bayley, because Bayley having to take you to a roll up is pretty good. Did everybody else kind of agree with my liking of the match? Maybe I'm drinking too much.
I enjoyed this match. Kool-Aid. It was actually a match I stopped looking at my phone at and was like, oh damn. Of course, although this match was pretty predictable on who was going to win. You can't do an elimination chamber without Bayley. But it had you on your toes. Lyra Valkyria definitely can square with the good ones, and she proved that this match. But of course, Bayley goes to the chamber.
That entrance is dope, by the way. It's dope live.
Yeah, I need them to do something exciting with Bayley. Right, I feel like, and I'll be honest, Bayley came out at the show, they're live, and you can kind of tell when somebody walks out that the crowd feels like has the star power. They stand up, right, commands attention. She walked out and it was like 50-50. And I think it's because we've been putting Bayley in all these predictable feuds. I don't think she's near as good of a face as she is a heel. She's way better as a heel. And she's going to be in the elimination chamber. We knew it. So it was almost, sad to say, a little bit of a bathroom break kind of match. It was a good match. Don't get me wrong. It was exciting live, but it was too predictable. And we continue to put Bayley in a corner that she's not her best self when she's in. So I would like to see her get involved into some bigger feuds. I know she jumped over to NXT and she's got this thing, this feud going over there.
They're doing a triple threat this week to end that.
So that's going to close out. But I don't think this serves her headed into WrestleMania, getting her into a spot that I'm excited to see her in a match in. And Bayley is very talented. So I think we're fumbling here. Personally, that's how I feel.
Agreed. It just feels like that they're trying to propel her to like a main event spotlight, but she has like it's like they don't know who to book her with. because she doesn't have a championship belt, or because she's too good to be feuding with mid-carders, I guess. And I guess that's how they look at it. But it's weird. She's weird to
But then they
book.
have her mess around on NXT. I don't understand.
Yeah,
I don't understand
I don't get
where
it
we're
either.
going with Bailey. But I do like where we're going with Lyra, because we protected her at the end of this match.
Yep.
Made her look good. I'm excited to see where that women's
I'm actually like really
championship goes.
I'm really excited about our mid-card women's division.
It's really good.
It's very good. God, we've needed that for so long too.
We have. I think it's better than the men's right now.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Personally. And here's a cool full circle moment for at least two of us here. All three of us, actually. We saw AJ 4 months ago.
Yep. He returned to Nashville on a SmackDown.
On a SmackDown in Bridgestone Arena, and he gets hurt.
Yep.
And I thought it was not real at the time. Alex was right. I'll give it credit.
We were so confused.
He did actually get hurt, and I find it full circle that his first SmackDown back happens to be in Nashville. Nashville certainly remembered with the Raw. Sorry,
can't get those things wrong.
Was it at Bridgestone or no?
He comes back. It was at Bridgestone, and Nashville certainly did not forget. Because we gave him quite the reception. Dom and Carlito come out, and the Judgment Day just, I guess, like we have talked about, irritates me to no end. This is even more of a reason to irritate me to no end, because Dom comes out, they cut a promo with AJ. AJ tries to make it good, but it's just, it falls flat. Dom and Carlito, like Carlito gets hit with the phenomenal forearm. We get this and Dom match for next week, but
I'm so glad they didn't put him in a match. I'm so glad they didn't put AJ in a match with him right then and there, because he probably would have got injured again.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, part of me was hoping he wouldn't wrestle either, just for the superstitious part of me.
I think the superstitious part of me did not want him wrestling.
I think Dom and Carlito gave AJ Styles a really good heel to bounce off of, and hey, Dom still gets tremendous heat. I'd still want to see him distance himself from the Judgment Day, but what a great promo moment, right? I think AJ took the time to dress down the Judgment Day and say, "Hey, where's Damian Priest? Where's Rhea Ripley? Oh, are you guys really the Judgment Day anymore?" And then he concluded it with, "You're never going to be anything but Rey Mysterio's punk ass kid," which I thought was hilarious and got a really good pop.
Whoever wrote that, props.
I don't know that anyone wrote it. I think maybe AJ.
Maybe AJ come up with it, but whoever came up with it, great.
Oh, AJ is a legend in the ring. He definitely came up with that. That was definitely all him.
I thought it was a good segment. Excited to see AJ Styles still getting some buzz. I don't want to see him in a program with the Judgment Day. He's one of those that I think probably should have been in the Elimination Chamber and may still be. Right? Is that a qualifying match he's doing next week?
They didn't say
I don't think so.
Gosh, it should be. And I'll tell you what, I just really, really hope that they push him in that direction. I know we've got a couple of spots left in the men's Elimination Chamber where he would fit in nicely. So either way, good segment, good crowd reaction. Great to see AJ back and healthy.
Agreed.
Then we go to Seth Rollins. He comes out, gets interviewed by, I forget which one of the interviewers is interviewing him. But he cuts a promo for a minute, and then he gets interrupted by Finn Balor. Guys, I hate this. Let me tell you why.
This is so garbage.
This is the singular. We've been talking about predictability all night. This one, next week, is the singular most predictable loss of Finn Balor's entire career.
And it's so sad, bro.
No chance on earth.
Sad.
They had him set up this match with a promo segment. And we all know for a fact Finn's going to get his head kicked in on Monday.
Yeah.
And it sucks because Finn Balor is actually such a good wrestler. Derek, you can do something with Finn Balor. You can.
No, Finn
100%
Balor's
you
not
can.
good.
You
Finn
can.
Balor is not.
Yes, he is. He's a very good wrestler. And if you think not, you're blind. He might not be good on promo.
I think Demon Balor's a damn good wrestler.
That's where I was
It's
going.
the same
That's where I
dude.
was going.
Finn Balor is boring as shit. And I'm sick of seeing
Demon
him down
Balor
our throats.
is good.
And as far as I'm concerned, this is just as good as John Cena declaring for the Elimination Chamber because this is a loss for Finn Balor. I think if it's me, Finn Balor leaves, takes a month or two off, and he comes back as Demon Balor. Let's put him in the ring against the Wyatt Six and Uncle Howdy and have an exciting match that jump starts him back on the path to being exciting again. Right? I think I don't like them using Finn Balor as a jobber. I think he does have a lot of potential and talent, but the Judgment Day ruined Finn Balor. Finn Balor's stock has gone from here to here.
It's like Priest took every inch of stock that
he did.
Finn Balor had and ran with it.
Yep.
But yeah, I agree. I'm all in with Demon Balor. Finn Balor, I'm just not. I love Seth. Seth's my favorite current wrestler, but even he can't make me excited.
No, I don't think there's any wrestler in the world that you can put with Finn Balor right now, and they have like you be excited about the match. Not even John Cena, The Rock, nobody could make you hype for a match with Finn Balor in it. Period.
I'd be hyped for The Rock.
The Rock and Finn Balor. Bullshit. That would be one of the worst matches of all time.
There's not a single wrestler on earth you could name versus the final boss that wouldn't be exciting. Sorry. Name one. Chelsea Green, great match.
I'm not doing a Rock segment.
Hornswoggle, great match.
I will say you could make a believable Elimination Chamber match with Finn Balor, but it's certainly not with Seth Rollins involved.
Yeah.
This just feels like you should have put somebody that we really didn't care about, let it be a squash match and move on.
Yeah, he's currently no-win Balor. That's right.
No-win Balor against probably, of all the qualifiers, the one who was going to win the most. You knew Seth was going to be in this match. It just feels like a waste to me. Feels like a waste of a match next Monday. War Raiders versus American Made. Live, this kind of was a little bland for me, but I watched this back. They put on quite the show, actually. I enjoyed this when I watched it back because I didn't want to give them too much hate. I tried to tell y'all earlier,
the War Raiders are like the only tag team that's actually decent right now.
These guys, these four had an interesting little dynamic they had. It was more interesting than I gave it credit for live. You still have that bland opinion there, Alex?
Yeah,
I don't give a shit about this match.
The War Raiders have no gravitas. When I see them walk out the tag belts, I would be more interested in anybody on NXT holding those belts than the War Raiders. It's bland. It wasn't a bad. It was technically. It was wrestled in a technically sound way. It was a good wrestling match, but the characters I don't give two shits about. I don't care. They're awful and they're boring. And none of them can cut a promo.
Furthering my hate for the tag team division.
Yeah, this tag team division was light.
As far as I'm concerned, they need to take the tag team belts off TV for a little while, build this division up a little bit, and then reintroduce them. Or maybe, heck, this is heresy, but combine the dang tag belts and let's have one tag division between two shows.
No, that's a terrible idea.
No, I would rather have one good tag division than two awful ones. And that's currently what we have. You got two really, really bad.
I understand the logic, but every time we combine these things, we spend 6 months with it, and we all think, why the hell did we do that?
Yeah.
Now we know.
Why the hell did we like that?
Split them up. We don't have enough talent to make two interesting tag divisions.
Well, they were never unified. Or they were never unified, though, huh? It was just the Usos that held both Raw and SmackDowns. Yeah.
Still, that's them being and then when
we had a whole lot better tag teams back then.
True.
But ultimately, Don't care about the segment. Cut it out of the show. Put it on NXT. Put it on TNA for all I care. I just don't want to watch it anymore.
God dang. All right.
Well, Alex will certainly like this segment a whole lot better. CM Punk comes out, the whole crowd pops up, gives him a good little pop. He does this great promo again where he's just rambles like CM Punk does. And then gets interrupted by Logan Paul. And for a second, I was like, do we have something here? Because we might. It certainly made me think for a second. I know it's probably not going to happen, and we're going to probably move on.
It would be such a good match.
Maybe not WrestleMania season, but I think Logan Paul versus CM Punk.
That would be fun.
Not a maybe.
I would watch this. I would want to watch this match.
Punk versus Paul.
But they had this really
Battle
good
of the PPs.
back and forth, and then Punk kind of disappeared. And then Rey Mysterio comes out. Jake Paul and Rey Mysterio have great chemistry. I think it comes from the fact that Rey trained with him for that first match quite significantly, I think, back a couple years ago. And they still got chemistry. Match was great. Paul was always going to win.
No. Y'all saw his new finisher, though. The Pulverizer.
Nice.
And I don't know if they've released what happened after yet. I think they did. But after Logan wins, Rey got beat to hell.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess they released it. But the New Day beat the hell out of Rey Mysterio.
I'll make my notes on this pretty simple because I thought it was a really strong close to the show. CM Punk and Logan Paul, great promo segment. I think CM Punk sells the Elimination Chamber better than anyone has because he does bring up John Cena. He does bring up all the possible interactions. And then, man, I will say this till the end of time, and I've been watching closely since Logan Paul started wrestling as a celebrity guest. He's the best celebrity wrestler of all time, and now I would even take celebrity off of it because I've seen him live several times, and he's just a wrestler, right? He was born for this. He has such a strong crowd reaction. He'll never be a face. Nobody will ever do this. But the boos are deafening when you're in the building and this guy's there. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you wanted to literally crack the ceiling of an arena, let's put Logan Paul and Dominic Mysterio on a tag team together and let them run roughshod. I'm telling you right now, that for me, and I think I actually saw it on Logan's podcast when he had Dom on, he brought the idea of this up to Dom, and I was like, whoa, what a great idea. You want to jumpstart our tag team division? Those two
there would
literally
skyrocket it.
I think that would be hilarious, awesome, and would get so much heat that it would be great. But also, ultimately, Logan Paul being in the Elimination Chamber, this is his second Elimination Chamber, mind you. He's always delivers. He hasn't had I've never seen him have a bad match. I'll stand by that. I can't say that about anybody else wrestling today. I can actively identify bad matches, albeit he doesn't wrestle near as much.
Yeah.
I get that, but hey, to be a celebrity wrestler, be a part-timer, not do this all the time, and step in here and have matches that are just top-notch every single time, that's an accolade that nobody else can claim.
I would even argue among the part-timers, he's, other than Roman, he's probably the best part-timer we've ever had. Yeah. Because as much as we all love Brock Lesnar, he did not come in and put on great matches. He came in, was Brock Lesnar, did his F5 suplex thingy, left. I think out of all of our part-timers, he's by far the best.
Here's the most impressive part of that, because you made a good point. He is almost the best part-timer of all, but
swear to God, if you say
the only part-timer that was never a full-timer. Yes. Right? He never. You think about Rock, Roman, Brock, all these guys. All these guys started in the business wrestling 6 7 times a week.
Yeah.
Logan never did that. He has one match every couple of months, and every time he comes in, it's impressive. So I mean, you gotta really tip your hat to somebody that's that naturally talented and born for this. So I'm excited to see him in the Elimination Chamber. And hell, I wouldn't be too damn mad if he won the thing.
wouldn't either.
I don't know if I want him to win the thing, but
Not over John Cena, no sir.
Okay, let me take that back. I might have went a little too far, but truthfully, let me replace that statement with this. I wouldn't be too mad to see Logan get involved in the world title picture in the future, post WrestleMania.
So that leaves us with SmackDown and Raw taken care of. And for the Elimination Chamber for the women, we'll go there first. We have Liv, Bianca, Alexa, am I missing? And Bailey have qualified, which means we need 2 more entrants. Who do we think they're going to be?
Do we have a qualifying match next week?
I don't think they've announced anything. I'm not aware of any announced matches beyond this point.
That's a good point. Nia Jax. I think she's
Nia Jax is definitely going to be in it.
I hate it. She's an obvious loser, but they like to sneak her into all these main event matches. Who else could we fit in there?
Well, this is easy, guys.
Oh, Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch,
yeah. Does she come back and do the Elimination Chamber as her first match? Maybe.
I think that's what we do, because I think the Chamber is going to give us her feud coming out of all this. I don't exactly know who it's going to be.
If she wins, though, she has to fight Rhea Ripley, so we don't see her winning. Ultimately, right?
She could. And we don't see it necessarily.
We don't want to see Becky.
But she doesn't have to win. She doesn't have to show up and win.
Yeah, gotcha. Ultimately, it's going to be the thing about the women's Elimination Chamber is I'm thinking Alexa, I'm thinking Bailey, and I'm thinking that we would be really great with Bianca. We've got 3 people that I feel would be great contenders for that belt at WrestleMania and would give us 3 unique matchups that would be exciting to watch. So for the women's Elimination Chamber, I'm excited to see it.
Here's my dark horse. Give us a dark horse.
Who's the dark horse?
Continue.
Chelsea Green. Oh.
Chelsea Green, not The Rock.
I'm not a big fan of these. If she's the mid-card champion, I don't necessarily want to see her pursue the world title. I think that makes the mid-card championship look like they don't want
just a dark horse.
Yeah, I got.
Not saying she be
if she didn't have the belt, sure. But
Rock.
Yeah. You like that? I got a good laugh.
That shit was funny. I just thought about like the Chamber and like the lightning and shit, and Nia Jax is in the ring. God damn.
So he goes out and goes, I'm the final boss. I do what I want. If I want to enter the women's elimination chamber, I'm going to do it. If you smell.
So for the men now,
fool, bro.
we're going to move on and not talk about The Rock because I refuse to. We have John Cena, CM Punk, and Logan Paul. Am I missing somebody?
Whoa. Where'd you get a cat?
Kitty.
Oh, there's a kitty. So were we just with those 3 so far? And Drew McIntyre, 4. So who are our last 2 entrances for the men's elimination?
Are we assuming anyone that lost a qualifier match is not in this match?
I would assume that until we're told there's a last chance qualifier.
Braun Strowman probably going to be in there somewhere.
I'd like to see Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu be the final 2. Just because there's a mini story we can tell there. I think we need a big guy in there. And Jacob Fatu, I just want to see him in an Elimination Chamber match. I want to see him do that crazy moonsault off the top of the chamber.
That's gonna make
he's gonna do some crazy stuff, and it's gonna be awesome. So ultimately, we know that neither of the last 2 are gonna win. We've got so much star power here. We know Roman's not showing up, so he's out. So yeah, I'd like to see it be Jacob Fatu and Braun.
I agree with Jacob Fatu. I don't know if I'm bought in on Braun.
I
don't know if I can
Jacob
find somebody else that I would really love to be in that spot.
Tongaloa.
Please, God, don't put any of the Tongans in there.
Bachaloa's coming. Can you imagine all the botches he could perform in the Elimination Chamber? Bachaloa would be awesome.
We can't do none of that nonsense.
Pocholo.
Do we think, because I have an idea, and this is just an idea, I'm not predicting this.
The Rock.
No.
Shut up, dude. God, we're about to kick you from the podcast, bro. About to be on probation.
Starting to have this weird feeling, like I think Cena's going to lose this again.
Please don't say that. Jesus Christ.
No.
There's no chance in hell he loses this.
The obvious path, if you have no other contenders, is John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. And I think ultimately he has to have this shot. Now, I saw something, I won't take credit for coming up with this, but I think I saw it on X earlier. What's been tossed around is that ultimately we'll get to WrestleMania and it'll be Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns in a triple threat, and that we would have John versus Cody. I actually like the inverse of that I saw proposed online, which is that you have CM Punk, Cena, and Cody Rhodes in the triple threat, and that we get Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns in a one-on-one match. I think that, to me, that speaks to me a little more. That feels a little more main event. I want to see CM Punk. I'd love to see CM Punk and Cena in the same ring at WrestleMania. That would be fun. And Cody mixing it up with those two, being the face that runs the place these days, versus kind of the guard of the past. So ultimately, you're actually right. I think Cena could lose and still end up in the world title match.
That's why I think, I'm not saying he's not going to end up in the world title picture, but I think there's a chance Cena loses this and Punk wins.
If Cena loses this, he has to win at WrestleMania. If he loses the Royal Rumble, loses the Elimination Chamber, and loses at WrestleMania, his retirement tour is a fail.
Yeah, I mean, it would make WrestleMania very predictable, but they could do it. They could throw us for a loop. They've done it before.
This is one of those segments where if WrestleMania is predictable here,
Annabelle.
I don't care. I want to see John Cena win and break the record, and if he's going to do it, I think it should be at WrestleMania. So we'll see.
Too. We haven't had any other matches announced yet. I feel like I'm smelling another tag team match. I'm smelling Street Profits DIY. Pretty deadly. Something.
You know what? If that's what we're gonna do, let's just let the PLE be 2 Elimination Chamber matches and then close the show. That's how I'm feeling. I think ultimately we could add a couple of matches. I think we'll get Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu. And we may get a women's world title match, depending on what that looks like. But
could get an Intercontinental title. I think AJ's flirting with that idea.
That would be good, but I think, hey, maybe that's a WrestleMania match. That's the hard thing about the Elimination Chamber. Any matches you put on the Elimination Chamber, they can't be too good, because then those probably should have been on WrestleMania. But they can't be bad because it's still PLE, and we want matches we want to see. So
maybe we get an undercard belt or two on the line.
Huh?
Maybe we get another undercard belt or two on the line. Maybe women's U.S. title or Intercontinental.
You're not going to like it, but I have the perfect idea. You do the women's Elimination Chamber match. Then you have The Rock come out and cut a 35-minute promo. And then you do the men's Elimination Chamber match.
Here, because this man has 2 night tickets to WrestleMania, and he bought them on the assumption that The Rock was going to show up.
Hey,
don't lie. No. This is my part where I roast you.
I'm not lying. Actually, I got 3 things. First, I told you guys I bought the ticket to see John Cena's last WrestleMania, and I stand by that. I was hoping The Rock would show up. Secondly, The Rock will be at this show. Whether he wrestles or not, The Rock will be at this show. You know it. I know it. And Netflix definitely is going to make that happen. Third and final piece is whenever The Rock decides to face Roman Reigns, I will buy a ticket to that show and I will be there.
I know you people love to talk crap in our TikToks. Please roast this man right here, okay? This guy right here. Roast him. The Rock is not wrestling at WrestleMania. Stop this.
I said he would be at the show.
Oh, he'll be at the show. Of course he will.
Yeah. You keep it up, and I'm going to make you cry for real this time. Not for the emotions.
this Rock nonsense. Any last words before we sign off for the week, gentlemen? Other than The Rock, please don't.
Started to. I started to, but I held
I
back.
can't with it.
It's going to be Bloodline rules.
Well,
Look,
if that's the case,
Bloodline rules. Jesus.
no.
I will
We're
say
done with
final-
we're done with this Rock. We're done with this Rock thing.
I'm done. I'm trying to move
We're
on.
out.
I will say, I think some things need to pick up headed into this WrestleMania. We've got a chance to have some really good matches. It's definitely a different card than we would have imagined several months ago, headed towards April. But there's still a great chance. You know, if I think back to last year's WrestleMania, where we kind of had an idea of where it was going, and it didn't end up going that way. But it was still awesome and one of the best WrestleManias of all time. So I'm hoping Triple H can pull that out of the hat again this year. So excited to see where it leads. Elimination Chamber shaping up to be an interesting PLE, and I hope we start pounding the pavement after Elimination Chamber, and we get some really exciting twists and turns. That's what I'm counting on.
We're gonna have to because it's late. Mania's right.
Yeah, we need to start nailing some boards, bro. Because Mania ain't looking too good, big dog.
Nailing some boards.
Yep, we need to start placing some blocks, dog.
We need to have more of those match cards made because that one match card they made, the between Gunther and Jey, that one was sick.
Yeah, graphics look cool.
I need to see more of those graphics.
Yeah.
I believe that's it. That's the bottom line for the week. See you later.
There you are.